Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. And with the draft coming up in just a few short days, Steve, the Chiefs are honing in on wide receivers in top 30 visits. We're going to talk about that. Plus, they just made Andy Reid the highest paid head coach in the league. Let's talk about it.
Before we get the show started, I want to say thanks for watching All Chiefed Up. Do us a favor, take a second and hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you love the Kansas City Chiefs. Mike, Andy Reid is rich, baby. Reid's rich.
He's rich. He's rich. Hey, Chiefs make Andy Reid NFL's highest paid coach, sign President Mark Donovan and GM Brett Veach to extensions. It says the Chiefs head coach Andy Reid has a new deal. So do team president Donovan and general manager Brett Veach. The Chiefs announced Monday that they have signed all three to contract extensions. The Chiefs did not announce the terms of the deals, but vowed in the announcement that the leadership team of the Chiefs will remain in place for the long-term future, says Tom Pelissero. And it says it makes him the NFL's highest paid head coach. Veach's deal also runs through the end of the decade.
Let's go, baby.
Per the report, Steve, Andy Reid, Brett Veach, Mark Donovan to the end of the decade. How many are going to win? Not 3 in a row, not 4 in a row, not 5 in a row.
We're just going to win until 2030, baby. We're just going to keep it going. Clean sweep through the whole decade.
Clean sweep.
Man, but this is kind of non-news, right? I mean, a group of guys that just won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years went to 4. Of course they were getting extended.
Oh, yeah. This has to really piss off Mike Florio, right? Like, I seen where he took a shot and he's like, they finally do it.
Florio's a slapnuts. We all know
he is. Let's jump right into the fun stuff, Steve. The teams are settling in on their final top 30 visits, and the Chiefs have been looking at a lot of people fast and furious. And I pulled out a few names that I thought Chiefs Kingdom should know. If you haven't watched the previous video, we actually pulled out a bunch of other names in the top 30. You can do that. Steve will link it up here somewhere or something. Other than that, let's go. They took a look at Texas running back Jonathan Brooks, Steve. 6 foot 216. By the way, look at these scores. 2nd in production, 12th in athleticism, 2nd in total score. And this is what Lance Zierlein had to say. NFL comp Jamal Charles. And by the way, I thought Jamal Charles,
right?
Hey, I seen Jamal Charles too, dude, and I thought I was just tripping. But yeah, he says the comparison of Brooks to former Longhorn Jamal Charles might feel lazy to some, like what you just said, but he has similar size and traits. Brooks's limited collegiate carries could be seen as a balancing agent against the fact he's coming off the ACL tear. You can go ahead and read the rest of that, pause it, do what you got to do. He says he's a good pass catcher with 3 down potential who should fit nicely as an early starter for zone-heavy teams. Steve, what do you think of Jonathan Brooks, and will the Chiefs really take a running back this high? Because he's probably going to be the first one off the board.
I'm thinking he might go to Dallas in the 2nd round, something like that. They love them.
Right.
They love the Texas guys. I did see Jamal Charles as well. So, yeah, I took a stab at the lazy comp because he's from Texas. But,
right.
No, I saw it as well. A little bit of Jahmyr Gibbs, something like that, in that vein of running back. So, I really do like him. I mean, if he were to fall lower than that and the Chiefs took a stab at him, let's say traded up in the 3rd round and took him or something, it wouldn't surprise me. I know a lot of people don't want to see the Chiefs drafting a running back in the early rounds of the NFL draft because they have CEH PTSD, right? That's a lot of letters I just put together there. Anyway, I think if they see something they like, they'll go get it. I mean, they've been known to take a running back. They took Kareem Hunt in the 3rd round. They took Clyde in the 1st round. If they see something they like, they see good value, it's the player they want, they're going to do it. They're not going to worry about what you think about it.
Right. So he's been there for a few years. He's played behind Roshan Johnson, Bijan Robinson. So he's had to wait his turn, right? And he was having a heck of a season this year. He had 187 carries, 1,139 yards, 10 touchdowns. He had another 22 catches for 212 yards and a touchdown. But then in November, he tore his ACL. And I think if he wouldn't have done that, coming off the ACL tear, he would have ran through this one. Because a lot of people are saying, hey, look, Trey Benson might be the number 1 guy. Jalen Wright's picking up some steam. Blake Corum out of Michigan. I don't think there was anything that deterred me from watching him on film to say this guy was not the best. He could cut so sharply, dude. He has good feel. He's slippery in space. So much acceleration. He can just get after it, dude. And I just thought he was the all-around best back I watched this year when I was looking at film.
Right. So if the Chiefs have this guy in top 30 visit, they've already had one with Trey Benson, I believe, and then also had one with Bucky Irving. You have to consider they might be looking to draft a running back. It could be them just doing their due diligence, but that's 3 big names there that are probably going to be around the 2nd, 3rd round. So if the Chiefs like the guy. Like I said, they could pull the trigger.
Right. The Chiefs have actually spoke to a lot of running backs. They've met with Isaac Guerendo from U of L. They've brought in a top 30 with Rasheen Ali. They've had a top 30 with Cody Schrader out of Mizzou. They had a top 30 with UCLA's Carson Steele, who also plays fullback. And like you said, Bucky Irving. They've met with Marshawn Lloyd and Jalen Wright. So they have done their due diligence here trying to talk to running backs. But let's move on to a different one. A guy that just recently got in trouble, Steve, but the Chiefs brought him in on the top 30. Why wouldn't they? They love these kind of character issues. Devonta Sweat, big boy, 366 pounds, 6'4 and a half. Look at his combine numbers, dude. A 5'2", and people's going to say, a 5'2", that's slow. This dude's 366 pounds.
Right. That's
a 26-inch vert, Steve. Like, it is insane. This is what he did. In 2023, he won the Outland Trophy. He was a first-team Associated Press All-American, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, first-team All-Big 12 Conference. He played in 14 games, had 8 starts, 45 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and 1 blocked kick. Okay, this dude does it all. But here's the deal. He was arrested April 7th on a charge of suspicion of driving while intoxicated per the Travis County, Texas Sheriff's Office. I actually dug this article up, dude. Sweat was arrested for DWI and ultimately released from jail after posting a $3,000 bond. In the state of Texas, a Class B misdemeanor is punishable by up to 180 days in jail, a fine of up to $2,000, or both. And then it says, police said Sweat's SUV and a sedan were involved in the crash, but the driver of the other car allegedly fled on the scene of the foot. He hit Rasheed Rice.
Yeah.
He totally crashed Rasheed Rice in Texas. Rasheed darted out again. He's not getting caught twice in 2 weeks. Okay, he's out of here. Steve, do you think Devonta Sweat, he's going to fall? He's going to fall because of this. What do you think? 3rd round, 4th round? What do you think?
I think you absolutely take a stab on a guy with that kind of talent if he's that late in the draft. I could see the Chiefs doing it big time. We know they always take into consideration character concerns,
right?
But they don't make that the end-all, be-all. So they might take a shot on a guy like this. And the big question to me is, Mike, have you ever seen the movie Hot Rod? Do you think, like Devonta Sweat, when he goes to his interviews with the teams, he's like, "Hi, my name's Devonta Sweat, and I like to party." Do you think that's what he does?
Man, he had that stigma coming out of high school and in college, was that he was a party guy,
right.
And he said he had matured, and then this happened. So it's kind of taking a step back. But look, he scores an 85 pass rush grade, okay? And you're like, look, he's like Vita Vea Part 2. Okay, at 366, like he is that big guy in the middle. But people's like, can he pass rush? Can he do this? Can he do that? Yes, a pass rush grade at 85.3, a run defense grade of a 92. His pass rush win rate was 15%, and on a true pass set, take out the RPOs, take out the screen passes, take out all of that, put the pressure on the pocket, for 3-4 seconds. 88.6 true pass set rate, Steve. He actually played on the outside, 5-tech, more than Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy actually plays the nose tackle more than he did in the senior year. So this dude is very much a Spags guy that can go up and down the line and cause chaos. It would not surprise me if the Chiefs didn't take a stab at him in 2 if they thought he was going to be taken in 3. But a lot of people are saying he could drop all the way to 4 or 5, so who knows?
Well, the problem is the Rasheed Rice situation. Do the Chiefs really want that look? Like, hey, you just had this happen with Rasheed Rice, and now you're going to draft Devonta Sweat, who was just arrested on a DWI. That might not be the smartest move by the Chiefs organization, so that would be the only thing that would count me out on this, because otherwise the value and where he's going to get drafted, that's a total Brett Veach move.
Oh, yeah. So let's get into the receiver category, because the Chiefs spoke to 2 receivers I want to talk about. The first one is a guy that's kind of polarizing right now, but we actually put him on our boom bust list, and we said he's probably going to be a bust. Devonta Walker out of North Carolina, 6'1.5", 193. Look at these numbers, though. A 4.36 40, a 1.54 10-yard split, which are elite numbers. A 40.5 vert, elite. An 11-foot 2-inch broad jump, which is elite. Lance Zierlein says he's an all-day vertical target with long linear frame and impressive build-up speed to win the foot race. Walker showed drastic improvement making the combat catch, but the jury is still out on whether he's physical enough to do it as a pro. He's a day 2 field stretcher for a West Coast offense looking to create explosive opportunities in the passing game, Steve. Devonta Walker is kind of another version of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, is he not?
That's the scary part, right? We didn't see a lot of production from Devonta Walker in college at North Carolina, but he's a stupid athlete. Like, look at these scores right here. Like, the guy tests off the charts. He's got a lot of potential. His ceiling's very high. He can definitely stretch the field, and he can have some explosive plays. And that's what the Chiefs like. That's why they love Tyreek Hill. That's why the fans love Tyreek Hill, because we always had that threat. Are the Chiefs looking to have that threat? Are they willing to take a chance on a guy like this? Quite possibly.
Right.
But my concern is that he would just be Marquez Valdes-Scantling, like a guy that can stretch the field, but he's not really going to do any good because they don't have to, even look his way. He's not going to catch the ball anyway. So if they don't have to stay true to that, they don't have to give it any attention, then it doesn't really matter how much they can stretch the field.
Right. You're really big on the drop rate, which he does have a big drop rate. He's got a 58.8% contested catch rate, which is very good. His drop rate actually came in at 6.8%. Not actually the worst.
Not terrible.
But where it got bad, though, was at the Senior Bowl. He went to the Senior Bowl. He had some concentration drops. He just looked bad a few times, man. He really did. He just looked kind of horrible. It wasn't the greatest thing you've ever watched. Like, it really wasn't. If you go back and watch his Kent State tape, though, he looked really good. He was dominant at Kent State, and it just never really panned out once he got to North Carolina.
This is why we called him a boomer bust pick. He is the epitome of that.
Yeah, I actually comped him to DJ Chark, a guy that just couldn't find his way in the league, right? And if you check this out, A to Z Sports says Devonta Walker had a bad week at the Senior Bowl, which I said, and then he was actually on the stock droppers. Walker's story this week was crucial, adding up to 10 drops in 3 days of drills. He literally had a horrible Senior Bowl. I don't know about it, man.
If you look back at that story you just posted, it looked like they comped him to Jalen Hyatt, the one before that. I think that's what I read. If that's the case, a lot of Chiefs fans were out on Hyatt. They did not want anyone like him last year. There were so many people that wanted nothing to do with Jalen Hyatt. So what makes you think they're going to have something to do with Devonta Walker, man? I don't know. That'd be a crazy pick. It'd be intriguing, and it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm just not sold on it.
Right. Let's talk about the last wide receiver, and then we'll talk about a name that some people don't know. Xavier Legette. A lot of Chiefs Kingdom are big on him. They brought him in for a top 30, man. 6'1", 221. He's an absolute freak show when it comes to like the stats and the combine. 4.39 40, a 1.54 10-yard split. Those are elite metrics. A 40-inch vert, elite metric. He actually said, though, Legette says one team keeps telling him it'll draft him if he's there early round 2, and that is the Panthers. He says, I've met with the Panthers 4 or 5 times. The relationship is just continuing to grow. He's told USA Today, they're really hoping I can make it to the second round. They keep telling me if I'm sitting there at 33, they're going to take me. So if the Chiefs do not take him at 32, or if the Chiefs throw out enough smoke screen, they could get the Panthers to jump him. And then maybe, I don't know. I don't know what their play is, but Xavier Legette's for real. I think he's going to be a good one. He was also on our boom bust list.
He was on our boom bust list, but we said that he was going to boom. The guy can just flat out play football. He didn't have a lot of production at South Carolina. He just had that one season. But we talked about why, and you can go back and watch those videos, and you'll see why that's probably legit. Like, I still think he's going to be a very good player in the league. Just super athletic. I mean, look, you're looking at the score right now, Mike. He's a big body on tape. When he flashes, he reminds you of A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and even, like I said, you can sprinkle in a little bit of Jamar Chase in there. The guy can catch a slant and house it on everybody and blow them off the football field. Super good athlete. I think it would be a perfect compliment for the Chiefs. I do think it's something that they've been lacking in the wide receiver room, and I think he could fill that hole. But I also think he's athletic enough to do the little things that they want him to do, the little gadgety stuff here and there. He can still do those things. I really like Xavier Legette, and plus, I just really want to hear the conversation between Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Legette, because that's going to be the best thing I've ever heard on Mic'd Up.
Yeah, it will be, man. He scored 87 receiving grade from PFF, which means that's really high. He done a lot there. I will say this. He has a size-speed combo that is super rare. He's good at the contested catch point. He's so athletic. He even did special teams, man. Could you imagine this guy on special teams with this new kickoff rule? He's a vertical threat, 15 deep targets, and his hands are there, man. He only had 2 drops all season. He's tough to bring down. He's tough to press in man-to-man. He was an 85.6 versus man-to-man. He's super high character. The only thing I had to knock is that he's only had 1 year of production, and his route tree at South Carolina was very limited. They were only making him run drag routes, dig routes, deep crossers over the middle, some vertical routes, maybe some wheel routes out of the backfield that also turned into a vertical route. So he's going to have to learn the route tree. Is that going to be something where it's like, hey, can he do this? Can he be effective in an Andy Reid offense? We know the receiver position in Andy Reid offense is tough to grasp.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen it with Sky Moore. We've seen it with Kadarius Toney. There's endless guys that you can look at and be like, well, maybe if they were in a different situation, they weren't with Andy Reid, they might have a little better, easier path. But that's not the thing, man. They just have to look at Xavier Legette and realize what he can do, what his potential is. I'm sure they're going to interview him thoroughly. They're going to know if he's going to be smart enough to pick up the playbook and things like that. So I just think that if he gets to the Chiefs, man, it could be killer. But like you said, someone like the Panthers might be trying to take him early second round. I don't know if he makes it that far, to be honest. I could see Buffalo taking a stab at this guy if they sit at 27. I could also see Baltimore taking a stab at him. I'd love to see the Chiefs get him if he's sitting there at 32.
Do you think maybe, surprise, maybe even the Bengals looking to replace T. Higgins could be a surprise landing spot for him? Let's go into the last player on the list that the Chiefs met with. And this is a my guy for sure for me. It's a cornerback out of the CFL, Quantez Stiggers, and he played in the CFL, and he has got one of the most unique paths to the NFL. He's 5'11", 203. I'm going to throw up his RAS right here. Like, you can tell he is a freak athlete, but this dude's story is out of control, like the path he had to take. He didn't get any interest in high school. He had to go to a small college in Tennessee named Lane College. His dad ended up dying from a car crash in 2020, and he quit football. He was like, look, I don't want to do football anymore, man. This sucks. And his mom was like, hey, let's get you back into it. So she signed him up for a fan-run controlled league, a semi-pro league. And once he's there, he does well. And then he has the CFL come knocking on his door, the Toronto Argonauts. They bring him in, and the dude wins Rookie of the Year. How crazy is this? 5 picks, 55 tackles. He is out of control. He is very athletic. He has very fluid hip movement. He's got great ball skills. This dude could be a lockdown pick in round 4 or round 5. If you want to take him that high, there's some people saying he could go lower. I think he goes round 4 or round 5. Stickers is good, man. I really like it. Unique path and just a guy I'm rooting for, man. I think him and you've mentioned Xavier Legette. Their paths have been so cool that it's hard not to root for them.
Yeah, talk about a damn redemption story, baby. That's
Right.
somebody you have to cheer for. Anyone that's overcame that kind of stuff. And like you said, Xavier Legette did the same thing when he went to college. He lost both of his parents. This guy lost his father. That's going to affect you a lot. And of course, Legette took the more usual route and stuck with college.
Right.
But I like this guy's story. That just shows a guy that, you know, he went through some stuff like everyone does in life. He showed that he was human, but he also showed that he wasn't willing to give up. He went and did his thing. He took his own unique route to the NFL draft. And I think it's somebody that's easy to cheer for. And not only that, Mike, but it's somebody that can make an impact on your team. The guy is a damn good football player. And I would love to see the Chiefs take a shot on this guy if he's sitting around in the 4th round.
Man, the CFL is no joke. There's some good football players up there. And not to mention, to cover, you have to give tons of cushion. Those guys are moving everywhere, going behind the line. It's a different beast. You get to the NFL after playing a year in the CFL. And by the way, he was a rookie there, and he'd done 5 picks, 55 tackles. He'd come up and hit you, and he was a ball hawk. And if you get in the NFL, the game may not be as fast as a guy coming out of college. He may come in and be Defensive Rookie of the Year back there. It's very possible. I like the story, and I think he's worth like a 4th round pick. If the Chiefs took him in round 4, I'd be ecstatic to replace possibly L'Jarius Sneed, put him in that backfield back there, baby.
Absolutely, man. Definitely be a sleeper pick. He could be a diamond in the rough, and that's what Brett Veach loves to do is find those guys in the defensive back room that just come out of nowhere. And we develop them so well, it'd be the perfect spot for him to land.
100%. But we appreciate you being here today. If you liked any of these guys, let us know in the comments. If we missed anybody that you wanted to see, let us know in the comments. We'll try to get to it. Be on the lookout. We're going to stream the draft all 3 days. Steve, it's going to be awesome.
That's
Thank
why
you
I'm
guys
pumped
for watching.
right now, baby. That's why
He's
I'm pumped.
Thanks for watching. You guys be sure to click that bell, hit that subscribe button. Let us know something in the comments. Hit the like. We'll see you guys. Go Chiefs.